What's up, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back to Wealth on Replay. Today we have a special guest. His name is Carlos, and he's going to be talking about protecting your assets. Say what's up to everybody, Carlos.
What's up? What's up, everyone? Thank you, Jax, for having me on here, man. Super excited. Appreciate you for this great opportunity.
No, man, appreciate you as well for coming on. So I'll just tell the crowd and everybody a little bit about yourself.
My name is Carlos Pichardo. I'm 31 years old. I was actually born in the Dominican Republic. I grew up in the South Florida area. I'm a financial advisor here in the South Florida area. I service whole country, and kind of that's what I've been doing for the last 6 years. And I actually used to be a barber, so that's something a lot of people don't know about me. That's kind of how I got introduced into the industry. I had a client who we became really close and sponsored me to get into this industry here.
Okay, and as we're in the topic of the asset protection, if you can just explain to everybody what is asset protection, like what is that exactly?
Well, it's multiple things. So that word encompasses a lot, right? So the foundation. So think about building a house, right? I used to work construction back when I was like 17 years old, right? And so basically, when you're building a house, right, you start from the foundation. That foundation of the house, it starts with life insurance, right? In our realm, right? So that would be one way you can protect your assets with life insurance. A lot of people use that to transfer wealth. In reality, whether it is using it to further along their future generations, or use it as a way to avoid taxes. A lot of people use that. I'm not going to go into those details right now. Right, a way to save taxes, save on taxes. And then there's also another way where the people already have a lot of money. So think about this. There are people that maybe accumulated a certain amount of money, and they're looking for certain vehicles where they can actually, maybe it's not life insurance, but where they can put their money and kind of avoid those taxes, right? And not outlive their money, right? Because at the end of the day, man, all we work for, listen, I love what I do, but I don't want to do it forever, right? So The reason we work is because we eventually want to have enough flowing in where now we have options to do other things, maybe pursue other passions. So like there's a lot of different vehicles where people can use if they have a certain amount of money in order to protect that money. I'm not going to make specific recommendations because I am licensed, but I'll just give you like general like ideas. Like there's things like annuities, for certain people, it is a good fit where they can basically invest into this vehicle and avoid taxes for a period of time. It's actually even lawsuit protected.
Wow.
You remember O.J. Simpson?
Oh yeah. He's in the Homestead state.
Yeah, I remember the state of Florida against O.J. Simpson. They were suing him, right? Well, guess what? They could not touch all his money because all his money was in annuities.
Florida
is lawsuit protected. So that's another way. There's a lot of various ways. So life insurance, obviously, I always tell people, especially if you have a family, have kids, look into that. I'm not saying look into it with me. Find someone that you feel comfortable with. Find someone that's going to educate you, not just try to sell you something. And then that way you can see what fits you, because there's so many different types of policies, and you can kind of see which one's the best for you.
Yeah. And also as well, I know we're always trying to buy the next car, buy the next house, things like that. We're always in a buying mode. We never really think about protecting the asset itself. So that's actually a great thing that you brought that up. What other types of assets are protected? What types of assets can you protect, I should say?
That's a good question. So yeah, most people, when they think of assets, it's protecting a home. Now, that is super important. The reason life insurance is actually like we go hand in hand, your industry and ours, because when someone buys a house, right, that's probably the biggest asset they're ever going to own for most people, right? So let's say they're married and something happens to them. Let's say that house was 400. Let's say now living in South Florida, the minimum you're talking 500,000, I'm sure, right?
Easy.
And right. So let's say you bought the house for 500,000. Now you owe about 300,000 on that home, right? Well, what happens now? You owe 300,000 on that home, and basically you pass away, right? Well, that spouse still has to pay that house off. True. So that's a way to protect that asset. That way that the spouse doesn't lose the house, which can happen, right? That they can pay that house off, That's the first way. Obviously, protecting your income.
Yes.
Protecting.
Yeah.
So you a lot of times your first asset is a house, like physical asset, and then your other asset is your income, your ability to make income. Because really, when someone passes away, there's two deaths. There's the death
Yes.
of the person, which is horrible, and you're never listen. Life insurance will never replace that person.
No.
Loved ones pass. It's never going to replace it. But what it does is, let's say they were making $100,000 a year, and that's what they were bringing in. Well, now you can have a policy structured to be able to provide for that family for the next 18 years. That's $100,000, and that's what's good
Wow.
about that. A lot of people. This is not my realm. A lot of people insure, obviously, they insure motorcycles, jewelry.
Right.
There's a lot of assets, right? We have a lot of people that get into, like, I was watching this thing with my brother the other day. We were hanging out, and it was like these Vegas coins that people pay $100,000 for.
Wow.
Some people, like, you see J-Lo, she's protecting her assets, right? She protects
Always.
certain things of her body. Like, there's people that do that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But there's so much available to us. And one of the things that I love about this industry is that I feel that, like, our community, like, I'm Hispanic, obviously Hispanic Black community, it needs more of this. It needs
Yes.
more people collaborating and actually bringing these discussions to the table, so that, maybe the older generation, they weren't able to do it, but the younger generation, we can spread it to the even younger ones, so that they can start earlier than even we did.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why these lives are important, because we need to learn these things. Because I don't think we're educated enough with the school and the people that surround us. They're not telling us these things. So that's why I'm glad that you are here explaining these things to us, and I do appreciate that. And I always wondered, why don't certain people get the asset protection? Is it the cost? Is it just not them not knowing? Me personally, I would think that them not knowing and be educated. But then on the other side, sometimes it's like a bill. Sometimes people look at things as a bill instead of as a protection. Like life insurance, people don't try to get it maybe because it's another bill at the end of the month. We need to maybe change our mindset and our focus to make it, to make sure that our kids are protected and have, because other people are getting life insurances and they're getting $200,000, $500,000, $1 million. Their next generation is straight. They can open up a business and do other things with it. So why do you think certain people don't get asset protection?
Well, there's usually, in my experience, from what I've seen, it's three reasons.
Okay.
They don't understand it. Number one, they don't.
Okay.
There's so, I mean, listen, it's there's so many policies out there, right? So everybody, they don't understand it, right? They're like, well, it's not like car insurance either, where it's mandatory.
True.
Right? So think about
we can make it mandatory.
Why is it mandatory for all of us to have, like, right? But think about this. That's why I tell people this, and people go, oh, well, that's you and a conspiracy. I'm like, no, there's a reason why they don't make it mandatory, because they don't want us to be rich. It's true.
True.
So that's the first reason. Most people don't understand it. Most people don't understand it. The second reason is they don't know where to go. Life insurance, there's a saying, life insurance isn't bought, life insurance is actually sold. So you need someone to educate you, because the reality is, especially in this country, it's a cultural thing. Like the Jewish people, man, they use that to actually transfer wealth over time, and that's why you see a lot of Jewish people with a lot of money. And I think it's just something that is not in our culture yet. Like, it's not ingrained. It's getting there. It's getting better. Believe it or not, it is getting better.
That's good.
The second reason is people don't wake up on a Saturday morning like they do. I need to go get insurance, but they don't wake up. They don't say, well, let me go to the life insurance store, because usually you don't have that. Usually these advisors and this is some, and usually in the life insurance industry, it tends to be white male over the age of 55 years old. Those are usually the agents. Nothing wrong with that, but usually you tend to go and flock towards your same kind of people.
Gotcha.
And then the third reason is a lot of people, they think it's too expensive. That is true. When you ask them, You think about car insurance, right? How much do you pay for car insurance, right?
Yeah,
$200-300,
exactly. And then
right?
if you get into a car accident, guess what? You got to pay a deductible. Your rates go up. So it should be a no-brainer.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the thing. When people think about life insurance, they're like, well, if I have to pay $200 for a car, I mean, wouldn't I have to pay like $1,000 for my life? But the reality is, depending on the policy, obviously, you can get a policy for as little as $30 a month. Obviously, it's
Wow.
based on your age and your health. That that can vary. The younger you are, oh yeah, you're a shoo-in, man. Like I got $1,000,000. I tell people I have $1,000,000 on myself, right? I'm worth more dead than alive right now. And I pay close to like 96 bucks, right?
Okay, that's not
So
bad. I spend more
but
than
I
that on
took that
food
out
every
when I was,
every week.
yeah, man, I'm going out later and I'm probably gonna spend close to 150 bucks. You
Exactly.
know, just on a night out, you go eat, right? You go with your girlfriend or your wife, you spend 80 bucks already there, and then if you have drinks, you're talking
That's even
100
more.
something bucks.
Exactly.
But
And
it's what you said is that is one of the factors. Yes, the money.
gotcha. And I see one of our viewers here, Carl Art Reed, says, how do you protect your assets in courts due to a relationship breakup or marriage? How would that protect the assets itself if you're going through like a divorce or breakup or something like that? Great question, Carl.
Well, this is I'm not a lawyer, right? So the first disclaimer is I'm not a lawyer, right? But for example, a lot of times people do come to me when they are getting divorced. Divorce attorneys refer a lot of people to me because, for example, let's say if they have kids or a home, let's say, what was the gentleman's name?
Carl?
Carl. Carl. So let's say Carl's going through a divorce and his ex-wife is going to keep the kids. Well, you can go to court and actually say, hey, listen, I need her to have a life insurance policy for $1 million or $500,000 because if something happens to her, the cost of me taking care of the kids is going to be X, Y, and Z. And so there's
Okay.
actually like judges actually create stipulations in these divorces where if, like, for example, if you're like, hey, yeah, I'll pay alimony, I'll pay the child support that you're asking me, but I need her to pay for a life insurance policy and I am the
Gotcha.
beneficiary.
Okay. I learned something new. And are you able to protect
They actually have
businesses
a
as well?
lady.
Like, what if I create a business? Is it personal
Go
and
ahead.
professional liability? Is it like both, or is it just personal?
Professional. We deal with businesses as well. We help
Okay.
businesses as well. And one of the cool things that we do for businesses is I always tell businesses we'll go in do kind of like a lunch and learn type educational workshop because every business is different. It depends if it's an LLC, if it's an S corp, what they can do. So let's say, Jax, that you and Carl are business partners,
Okay.
right? And you're 50-50, right? God forbid something happens to Carl, he's 50% of that business, right? He's probably doing stuff that you're not doing. So your business will probably take a hit. So there's different things called buy-sell agreements. You have collateral plans, collateral assignments, where basically the business owns the insurance, not the people. So your business actually owns the life insurance. And basically what happens is you guys are the insured in there, but the business
Gotcha.
is the beneficiary.
Gotcha.
So if Carl passes away, the life insurance goes to the business, right? And now your
Gotcha.
business can continue running, which you are the business.
Okay. I like that. I never thought about that. How about any so a lot of people right now, because as everyone knows, if you don't know, I'm a licensed realtor and lender in the state of Florida. So a lot of people are always trying to get a home nowadays, and you got to protect those assets when you buy the home. And also a lot of people down here because of the pandemic and everywhere around the world are opening up businesses and things like that. Do you recommend to get the asset protection for your new business or your brand new home as well? I know you mentioned if someone passes away when you buy a home, like your spouse. How about a business? If you open up a new business, do you recommend that as well? And does it cover like liabilities? Like, what if like something happens? Like, if you have a barber and
Absolutely,
you cut
absolutely.
somebody, does that protect that as well?
You can actually you can get different liability policies as well. In addition to it, there's so many things, man. It's crazy. One of the things, for example, there's policies that you can insure a key employee, right?
Mm.
So you are literally getting a policy in case something happens to that employee. Even if it's not death, there's policies where it's like if they get sick, but let's say that person's job is very like a strategic job that it's very hard to replace. If something happens to that
Okay.
person, well, you need that income to flow in regardless of what they were doing. So there's different liability policies, life insurance policies that you can do that as well. Disability
Oh,
policies. It's like
okay.
that's
If they
why
get
so many
injured,
people are scared of it. There's so many.
if they get injured on a job as well, right?
Absolutely, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And even if you're a small business owner, there's a lot of times when people are like, "Well, I don't know because I only have one employee," right? So a lot of people think that's for the big businesses. But this is the thing:
No.
you got to start
No.
thinking big when you're small,
Yes.
right? And you got to start protecting yourself from the get-go, because if you're not thinking about that future, then you're probably never going to scale up anyways.
Okay. And give us a personal story. I know you have a lot of people that you helped out throughout the years. If you guys check him out on Instagram, I have his links at the end of the live session on the bottom in the description box. This man's been doing real great things in the community. I just want to say I appreciate you. I know you touch a lot of people. Give us like a personal story. You don't have to say names of how you protected somebody and how they maybe reached out to you to let you know how like you're a blessing to them. Because I do see your page and see, but just give us like a personal story,
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
know
So
this
this,
will resonate with somebody.
yeah, well, this is not a fun story to talk about.
Oh,
It was a friend of mine. So I used to work at a barbershop. Before then, I was giving baseball lessons. This was like 2013. I met this young kid, and I was giving him baseball lessons. And he introduced me to his older brother. And we kicked it off. We hit it off, and we became friends. And he was married. He had two daughters at the time. So I insured him and his wife back in 2016. Um,
okay.
the wife was a stay-at-home mom. He was the one working. And really, what happened was initially he was like, "Man, listen, he's from Dominican Republic as well, very old school guy. He's like, I don't need that stuff. Nothing's gonna happen to me, right? I don't need life insurance like that happens to me." And one day the wife tells him, "It's like, hey, what if something happens to you? Like, what am I gonna do?
Right.
So she was thinking about if something happened to him, right? Because she was healthy, didn't smoke, didn't drink, 25 years old, man. And basically, she got cancer about
Oh man.
2018, and she passed away 6 months after giving birth to their third daughter.
Wow.
And I get goosebumps to this day because I remember that when I got that text when he texted me, he's like, "Hey, I the least passed away." It's fine if I say the name. He's a good friend of mine. And basically, I went to the hospital, hospital. And then the first I was out this and that was the first time. That was my first death claim. I've delivered multiple since then, but at that time I didn't know what if he was going to be mad at me or because sometimes people think, "Oh, you brought this upon me," right?
Right.
But when
Right.
I got there, he hugged all his family was there. He hugged me. He says, "Thank you. I don't know what I'd be doing right now. What I'd be preparing right now if I didn't know that this money was coming." I was able to deliver him with a check for $300,000. We invested about 200 of it. We left him with some disposable cash. He works with Spirit, very organized guy. He ended up buying a home. Check this out.
Is the internet going up? Can you hear me, Carlos? I think we're having a little bit of difficulties with Carlos here. Just waiting for him to come back in. This is what happens when things go live, man.
Can you guys hear me?
There you go. Yes, we hear you. And you're saying that he bought a house?
I don't know what happened, guys. Can you hear me now? I think you're muted.
There you go. So you're saying that he purchased a house with the funds that he received? Okay, Carlos got that bootleg internet. Carl Reed, appreciate you watching, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, I think Carlos is having a little bit of difficulties on his end. See here. So again, guys, appreciate you watching this video. I might just go ahead and end this short. Let me see if he's coming back here again. Try this one last time. So if you've been watching live, I did ask him, the definition of asset protection, to basically protect your assets while you're alive, and also in the event that you do pass away. We did go over some things on why people won't get asset protection. And Carlos did go over and explain why. Certain things is the knowledge, funds, and other things as well. So we did go over that. And also, guys, if you do have a business, like Carlos said, don't think too small. Think bigger.
I don't know if you guys, if you can hear me, Jax.
Yeah, I hear you now.
But I can't hear you.
And guys, if you have a business, think big. You know that one employee that you have might become 5 employees one day, 10 employees. So definitely always think bigger, and always always be around sharper knives as well. And Carlos, you were saying that your friend he had some money from the policy and he bought the home. This is normally when it cuts off. Okay, I think Carlos is having something wrong with his audio. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and cut it short, guys. I will have another live session. Just want to say I appreciate you guys watching this video. Make sure again, guys, make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And of course, make sure you watch all the videos, binge watch. I'm going to have a great guest coming next week. We're going to be talking about commercial property and different businesses as well. So that's going to be a real good one. So guys, have a great Friday. Make sure you guys don't do anything I wouldn't do. Have a good night.